Hello, hello. Welcome back to 444 Keys to Wisdom. I am doing I'm sorry, not ancestor readings, but past life readings. Excuse me, I just did ancestor readings. So, I am on the sign of Gemini. And sometimes, having a past life reading helps you understand, why certain things are happening to you in this lifetime, right? Because a lot of stuff, we carry it over from past life into this lifetime. So even our relationships, dynamics to certain people that we're connected to, we might have actually knew them already. They might just present themselves as a different version. In this particular lifetime, energy is not destroyed, it is only transformed. So sometimes we switch gender roles, in our new lifetime. So I'm on the sign of Gemini. Okay, so what past life messages do we have for the sign of Gemini? What kind of past life information do we have for the sign of Gemini? What kind of past life information could help us for the sign of Gemini? Universe, spirit. Give us some information on what might have happened. Oh, that's too many. In Gemini's past life. Past life information for the sign of Gemini. Ooh, I don't want to take all of them, that's too many. Alright, so Gemini, hold on, let's see what we got here. Okay. 1 second here. Okay. Trying to think, what is the name of these people? There's a word I'm trying to think of real quick, Gemini, as I bring this together. So Gemini, you might have a natural inclination to be the person that a lot of people come to for advice. Okay? That's too many. I want to take all of those. Alright, so we got, you may have some Asian background too. So we got knighthood, Asia, and you notice here, I'm sorry, I hope that's not making noise. My grass is being cut and he keeps setting off my cameras. So I hope it's not making a noise. But so you see this knight, you see the decorations here? That kind of looks a little Asian, right? It's got like an Asian feel to it. And then there's the Asia card. So Gemini, you may have some Asian roots. Okay, you may have been, you actually might have been an actual knight, So that's one thing I'm getting. You could be someone that people come to for a lot of advice, because we've got monk and nun, father, vows, biblical, wars and battles, male, female, authority figures, galactic, health, scribe, writer, Greco-Roman. So, Gemini, there was a lifetime that you spent, you probably were in existence during the biblical times, okay, with this biblical card here, and this Greco-Roman, Greeks, Romans, okay, authority figure, monk, nun, scribe, writer. So, Gemini, if you are a male in this lifetime, you could have been a female in the last lifetime, or vice versa. If you're a woman this lifetime, you could have been a male in the previous lifetime. But either way, you were an authority figure during the Bible times, during, you were very devoted to being, your vows was not to any person, it was to your religion. Okay? Your vows was to the Father. Okay? So you could have been a person that was like a prophet. You could have been a prophet in another lifetime. Which is people, in the Greek Roman time, which is when the Bible existed, especially the New Testament. You could have been the person that authority figures came to for advice. With this wars and battles, you could have been the person that, with the wars and battles in galactic, you could have been the person that authority figures came to for spiritual warfare. You could have a lot of knowledge in this lifetime about spiritual warfare, spiritual matters. You could be really good as strategic strategies of moving through spirituality and religion. In this lifetime, you could have grown up in religion. Okay? You could be a religious figure or be connected to a religious figure in this lifetime that may be a figure of authority. But either way, I keep thinking of the book of Luke in the Bible. There's some kind of connection to that with this health card and this scribe and writer. Luke was one of the disciples in the biblical, Greek Roman times, but he was a doctor. He was a physician. So you may have some sort of connection to that. You could have been a healer in those times. Like you could have been one of the people that, the authority figures came to for healing, prophecy. You could be a seer. You could have been a prophet, a seer. And like I said, you had a different gender. So whatever your gender is in this, whatever your sex is in this scientific sex, if you're a male now, you were a female before. If you were a female before, you are a male now. So there's like two different lifetimes here, but you have very heavy biblical ties. You could be single. And the reason why you're single is because of your last lifetime of vowing to the Father, the Creator, the Most High, and you were a monk and a nun. So your commitment was to your religion in another lifetime, biblical. Or there were actual wars and battles that you were able to give people advice on. For example, let's say King Solomon, King David. They consulted God, of course, in those stories. But there were other people, they were prophets. They were seers that they went to get information, gain knowledge, advice from. You were that person. Authority figures leaned on you for help. You were a guide. So the authority figures was the guide for the people, but you were a guide for the authorities. You could have some sort of ties to astrology with this galactic card here. You could have been an astrologer that they came to about. People seem to think, I don't have time to teach this, but people seem to think that in biblical times they didn't mess with astrology, and astrology is witchcraft and blah, 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 blah. No, not at all. Because in those stories, how did they know to find baby Jesus? They told them to follow the North Star. They used astrology of when the child will be born, when to do this, when to plant, when to get their harvest, when to travel, when not to travel, when the different seasons were coming. They used the stars of the sky. They used astrology to help the astrology was their map. Okay, so you could have been a prophet or something that they came to, and you used astrology to help guide the authority figures. You know, for example, when Moses was traveling with the people, they had to use the sun and the moon and stuff to know where they were going. Which was east, which was west. You know, you were a scientist of some sort in the Greco-Roman times. You were a scribe or a writer. You could have went to battle in Asia with this Asia card here. Knighthood, wars and battles. You could be good at martial art. In this lifetime, you could be a martial artist. You are very naturally skilled at martial artistry in this lifetime, either in mind, body, or both. But your connection, you had a heavy connection to religion in one of these lifetimes too. You existed during the New Testament days. So in this lifetime, you could actually be possibly quite rebellious towards religion in this lifetime, because you were one of the prophets. You were one of the people that led the leaders. So authority figures in this lifetime that are religious have a problem with you, Gemini, because you know more than they do. You have a lot of knowledge, and a lot of older people don't like it. They don't like how wise you are. You actually have more knowledge about things that existed then, and you actually have a deeper understanding than like everyday churchgoers, people you could have parents that are super religious, but you're actually wiser than they are. You actually have more knowledge than they are, and they probably can't stand it. You understand astrology. You understand, and even with this health right here, I feel like this health is connected to, actually, I feel like that's connected to your lifetime with Asia and knighthood and wars and battles. You could be very health conscious this lifetime, and you could be naturally health conscious, or you could be really good at helping people with their health. You could be a healer in this lifetime. Maybe the last lifetime was more of a guide, a prophet, a biblical, like a astrologer guy, and this time you're more on the health aspect of things because you were a martial artist. In order to do martial artistry, you have to be healthy. So there's something about health, but this is like in a good way. You lead people into good health, mind and body. So you're probably someone who's very physically fit. Okay, you could be someone who makes your own herbs and concoctions, lotions, teas. You're very health conscious in this lifetime, but it has to do with your Asian roots. Because you are a monk or a nun, you might be very disciplined naturally, and being disciplined has to do with martial artistry as well. There's a mental discipline you need for that, for your mind and your body. And you're just naturally like that. But the reason why you can do what you do has to do with your Asian roots. And because the monk in you is that's why you're such a disciplined person. Like, you don't get distracted very easily from things. You don't let a lot of things distract you. If you're a female, you're very sexually disciplined. If you're a male, you're sexually disciplined. To the point where people have probably accused you of being gay. I don't know why I'm getting that, but you're not. It's just you're not easily tempted by the flesh. But you're very good at war strategies, either spiritual warfare or just every day, like a literal physical fighter. Your dedication to the Most High and during these biblical days, you and your father could be extremely close. Your natural biological father in this lifetime could be extremely close, or you don't have one, or you don't have a relationship with your biological father in this lifetime. And the way that can affect some people, it didn't affect you like that though, because you already had a contract with God himself at one point. So you were pretty self-sufficient in this lifetime, not having a physical father with you. You are also able to see a deeper side of religion that most people around you may not understand. Like, you can take it a step deeper of, for example, in my other videos, I talk about Christ being an actual consciousness, was not actual literal person. You understand that? Or it could be something that you're here to learn, to understand, that that's not actual person, it's a literal consciousness. You could, with the scribe and the writer, you could be one of those people that could break down the book of Enoch like never before. And a lot of people don't understand the book of Enoch. With this, all this religion here and this galactic connection you have, I feel like you know something, or you may have a connection to Anunnakis, Nephilims, those other beings in biblical times that people don't like to talk about. The book of Revelations is probably more clear to you than any other book in the Bible. Whoever you are, Gemini. So you were a guide to the authority figures. In this lifetime, you may have had issues with authority. I don't know if you, at some point, how old you are, at some point in your life, you might have been kind of rebellious, or like a rebellious teenager or a little kid. You know, even though you're well disciplined now, you could have been a problem child. That's not for everybody, but that you could have been a little problem child at one point, Because even as a kid and these adults are trying to tell you what to do, you still knew better than them because you were the one telling them what to do in one lifetime at one point. And you did something that's written in history and you probably don't even know it. Like there's something that's written in history that you were a part of. And you probably don't even know it. Like you helped bring about this concept when you were alive in those days. And you probably have no clue. This is very powerful, Gemini. And on the bottom of the deck, I just happened to flip it over. We got finances. I don't know what that is. You could have been someone that funded certain things for people. I don't know what the finances is. And that's all I'm getting off of this, Gemini. Whoever I'm talking to. I hope that made sense. I hope that helps. Bye.